Oh, I grew up here in the city in Philadelphia, West Philadelphia. I attended Belmont School until I reached, I think it was seventh grade. Well, that was in the 30s. It was still a predominantly white area. We had a principal, and he really accepted all the blacks from the different areas, and we were made to be comfortable, and as well as the teachers. In a sense, we integrated that school. But we were readily accepted. There was no problem as far as I know. And I know in our block there were white kids, and we all played together, and we just thought it was how it should be. When I got to junior high school, they would give the black girls to home economics and the black fellas to shop. I really wanted to become a teacher, but when it was time for me to get prepared to go to school, my parents didn't have the money, but nursing was not as expensive, so I knew I could go to nursing school, finish nursing school, and then I would work and I'd be able to go back to school to be a teacher. That was the plan. But when I applied for the nursing schools in Philadelphia at that time, they had just started to admit black students, and I was accepted at all those schools. But when the time came to go be admitted, they had taken their quota. And they sent you a letter and told you, you have passed the examination, but we do not have a position for you at this time because we have accepted our 2 colored students, and you may apply next year. And I wish I kept those letters. And of course, I was devastated, but I'm so glad I went to Mercy Douglass. This was in 1949. We didn't have the best facilities, but we had the best instructors and the teachers, and they made us aware of what the world was all about. We had to be the best because we knew what it was all about. And then your fellow student nurses, and it was just a wonderful experiences. We were taught how to improvise, so if we were in a different situation, we would know how to do whatever we had to do. But I think if you're not aware of it, you think it's all good. My first job when I completed my studies was at Philadelphia General, because I knew I was there for a purpose, and it wasn't going to be my life. I went back to Mercy Douglass, and I worked the OBGYN area there, and the experience that I gained there made it possible for me to work up to be head nurse. From Mercy, then I went and I did private duty throughout the city. But I was doing private duty at Germantown Hospital, and I came on duty one morning. The girl gave me a patient, and then the other ones, they looked at me kind of funny. And they said, why would they give her that patient? But I went in and I introduced myself, and it was a little old man, and he was laying on his back there. And I said, good morning, I'm Mrs. Brewer this time, and I come to give you your morning care. And I start getting his things together, and then when he turned over, and he looked at me, he said, I told him I didn't want a nigger. Well, I wanted him side of the head, but I was cool. I said, well, you know what, I am not a nigger. I said, my name is Mrs. Brewer, and I'm your morning nurse. And I proceeded to do everything I had to do. So when it took him out, I rubbed his back and changed his bed and went out to the station. So when I went out to the station, I was ready for the nurse, because she knew that. And she sent me in there to be embarrassed, but I did what I had to do. I did make her aware that I was very unhappy with the situation. But before the day was over, and he came to the nurse's station, he told him, you send that nurse back to me tomorrow, because this is the best care I've had since I've been here. So I felt I did something that would help with the movement at that time. So Mercy taught us, and we knew when you went out, you had to be the best. And if you weren't accepted by someone else, then that was their problem. That's not mine. Well, I think everything changes, but everything remains the same. A couple of years ago, a young girl came up from Emory University in Georgia, applied for a position at a hospital in the city, had all the credentials. She had her master's, head nurse in a position, and because they hadn't seen her any pictures or anything, and she came up to have this position, and when they saw she was black, they told her that position was filled. And that still happened 2 years ago here in the city of Philadelphia. So where have we gone?